I am in a 10 out of 10 mood. I just came back from a week-long vacation where I met some fans, took some photos, met the other YouTubers in the Diablo Immortal community, went to the TwitchCon, checked out and kind of had time at Disneyland, made a lightsaber. I mean, I had a good week. And now I'm back and ready for the YouTube grind. And what's awesome is I come back and the good times continue. What I noticed was while I was gone, Blizzard implemented one of the things I've been up here asking for continually, the ability to do dungeons solo. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Now in Diablo Immortal, you can run dungeons alone. So how do we know this? Well, they recently launched these patch notes, which I haven't had a chance to really look through too much, but we're going to be looking through it today. One of the things, however, in the patch notes that did not get mentioned on the US side of things, but was mentioned in the Chinese patch notes, because sometimes the Chinese version of the patch notes has some more information, not sure why, is the fact that the dungeons are soloable. They also added this legendary crest aesthetic. So this was another thing that was kind of a complaint from the beginning, which was, hey, legendary crest and eternal legendary crest look the same. You can't tell which ones they are and you can't add them in separately. So when it comes to like your purchases, it can kind of feel bad because you can't really use the ones you want when you want to. This isn't an actual technical change in the game. It is only really an aesthetic, but it does make it easier to distinguish between these. Here's the really big one, and we'll go through all of this stuff in the patch, but this is the one I want to talk about first. New resource, Telluric Pearls. So now what you can actually do is craft 5-star legendary gems in the game by receiving pearls. Now, I know people have done the math, which is that if you get it from the Hiltz trailer alone, it's 40 weeks. I want to let you know the average time is going to be less than that. You will be able to get these pearls through other such means like events, etc. From my understanding, the pearls will be, think of it like legendary crests right when the game launched. Right when the game launched, the legendary crests were not really easy to get. It was a pain point and we're complaining. They've slowly been adding more as time goes on. The pearls, from my understanding, are kind of the same way. It's going to start with a high base where it's like a little ridiculous to try to get done, but the time is going to be going down. It's going to be easier and easier to acquire these. Kind of interesting, we're having a new Halloween event. I did say several times to Blizzard that I really hope they continue to do temporary events, like seasonal type of events. There's kind of a yin yang to these. In MMOs, I've seen people get upset at seasonal events where it's like, I missed it because I have a family and I couldn't do anything. But I'm just gonna say this, I think seasonal, like temporary events for like Halloween, Christmas, stuff like that are all W's in MMOs, because for the people that want to get into like an MMO hardcore, they play an MMO almost every day. Like sometimes it's like their family in there, and getting something that shows like I was online at Christmas, I was online at Halloween, like the Easter bunny ears from RuneScape way back in the day, or the scythe you would get for showing up for Halloween. These were the type of things that would help distinguish like these are the hardcore community, these are the people that, and it means a lot to those people that are able to get it. So for me, I actually really like temporary events, and I'm kind of hoping that what they actually give you is cosmetic. So like, see, during this, players over 20 and above will have a task, exchange for stones, rewards such as a sack mask, ghost of the moat, and choker portrait frame. So this is the type of stuff I like to see in terms of seasonal events. It's not really a bunch of like in-game rewards. We're not trying to get a bunch of resonance and legendary crest out of it. It's really like, I was on a Halloween, I did the event, I have a cool spooky mask, pretty cool. Now, speaking of free legendary crest, this is actually, for people like me, this is probably more of an advantage. For the average person, this is probably like, oh, they're going to make an alt and do it themselves, even though, you know, you're not really supposed to do that. That's kind of what these programs end up being for most of these games. What this is a recruit a friend system. So without reading it all, basically it boils down to this. I will recruit people, and I'm sure I'm going to give you guys my code, which I'll put down below. And you share your code, people install and download the game, you get some basic rewards. People start leveling in the game as well, they are going to give you some more rewards like rare crests and normal gems. Then you get legendary crests when they hit level 60, legendary crests, 3 rare crests, 6 normal gems, and then this is cool, Grim Fellowship Portal Cosmetic, 2 legendary crests and 9 rare crests if you get 3 friends to level 60. 3 isn't too many. That's kind of, I would say that's industry standard in terms of referrals. Normally it's like 1, 2, and 3 is what I've seen for these mobile games. Rewards for the new recruits, then new recruits get reward too. Like I played WoW way back in the day where recruit a friend was actually a thing. Like I got you get like the zebra and all that from the game and the rocket and all that. So each side of this, both the recruiter and the recruits are supposed to get rewards. That's what it seems to be. This is really cool that you get random legendary at 30 and 50. So you get some in-game like actual gear too as well, which is kind of cool. 6 rare crests, enchanted dust, scrap, gold. This doesn't really really mean anything here, this part of it. But the random legendary is kind of cool, level 30 and 50 here, and then you kind of get some basics just to help you. One thing I will say is while this doesn't look very good, like the enchanted dust, scrap, and gold, etc., and it's not very good, keep in mind, in the beginning, you're leveling so quickly, and because of the boost from the server Paragon level, you're going to be leveling quicker and be able to have the blacksmith upgrades quicker than when we started the game. So because of that, they need dust and scrap quicker so they can actually do the blacksmith upgrades. So actually getting these type of, it isn't as bad as it looks is what I'm saying. I would have liked to see 10 times these numbers, 20 dust and 300 scrap for each one of these, in my personal opinion, 50k gold, because the numbers are kind of low, but I don't mind that it's the materials that it is. Now, if we keep scrolling through the Infernal Knowledge and Limited Time event, this one looked kind of interesting. It doesn't have a lot of information. It just has complete daily tasks. So I'm assuming it's not really like a huge hardcore event. You just go through and click through and you do the different things like kill monsters, etc. The Halloween Dead cosmetic, actually, I think this looks pretty cool. I think having Halloween cosmetics, again, I already said I'm a fan of these things. So doubling down and selling cosmetics for, you know, Halloween, Christmas, Easter, these type of things, I'm on board with that. Don't mind. 1,000 Eternal Orbs, same price as normal. Going down here, I think this set looks whack. That's just my personal opinion. But, you know, it's a cosmetic, so it is individualized. You're welcome to like it if you want. Obviously, we've gone through the pros and talked about how the pros are. This is a huge pain point. So being in Immortal with the vault system absolutely sucks, but now there's a vault queue, so it's not even like you have to do a fine party. So you just join the queue, you get in, and you're instantly in. One other thing people noticed about this is that they actually removed the cooldown from the Immortals, making it actually buff the Immortals in terms of defensive. I don't know since this has been launched if it's been hotfixed, as I've been out of the game due to being in San Diego for TwitchCon, but that's my understanding. A couple other things that are interesting. Dark leaders can now substitute people. So if you have multiple leaders and maybe you can't make it that day because you have a life, then you can give somebody else the opportunity to defend for you. Shadow lottery notifications, etc. One other thing I want to notice is, let's see if I can go to Reddit, Diablo Immortal, and find this here, is people were asking, hey, where did the invocations go? There was one post in here that said that they were wondering what happened, because let me see if I can find this real quick, because in one of the posts, it originally said that the invocation gear was buffed and the drop rate of invocation gear was basically heavily buffed, but we did not, we do not see that in the patch currently here. So I don't know if maybe that went to bug fixes and I'm just not seeing it here, but that was something I was reading when I was looking through the patch notes kind of prior, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. It looks like there'll be a buff in terms of invocation, but maybe it was a typo and they didn't buff it. Not 100% sure. It was in the patch notes. Don't see it anymore, or maybe I'm just failing to find it. So in terms of this actually updating the game, this is a good one. I mean, we got solo dungeons. That was something we've been complaining about forever, okay? I actually like that, all right? We got the Immortal Defense queue, pretty good. I mean, it's for a non-major update. For a minor update, it's like, cool, we got more quality of life. What I really like to see, and I've been up here complaining a lot about, like, we need more content, but the reality is, like, in other games where they've been pumping out content, I would then like, we need infrastructure. And we're kind of getting a little bit of infrastructure. Things like the Recruit the Front system, even though it's minor, is still more quality of life things. The Legendary Crest change is still more quality of life. The fact that they're actually putting out seasonal events is pretty cool. We got some new style events now. So I know people are probably like, oh, Undecember, Torchlight, let's jump the ship. I'm still kind of betting on this pony for a little bit. The game does seem to be getting better. I'm trying to be optimistic and not just pessimistic. I'm still enjoying the game. So we're going to get back to the game, get back to the grind. But I'm going to be checking out Undecember Day as well, because it did just launch. It is mobile and PC from my understanding. I did have the gameplay impressions video I put out already, and it wasn't really that bad. So we're going to give that a shot as well. Thanks for watching this video. Love you all. For me, this is probably a 7 out of 10 update. I'm actually a fan of focusing on more quality of life. What I really want to see now, though, and what's going to answer this for us is, when is the next major update? Because we know that there was server changes, server merges. We've seen that data mine, and we also heard about a new zone. And we don't know if that new zone maybe was the Silent Monastery and we got miscommunication, but on Reddit, Pez Radar mentioned they were working on a new zone, so maybe that's in the next major update as well. Thanks so much for being patient with me while I was gone to TwitchCon. If you were there, one of the people that met me, I love you. Thanks so much for coming by. I honestly came back with like a pretty crazy amount of I would say inspiration, but really it was like thankfulness of not taking my job for granted after I met a few people that actually watched me and made it real for me. So love you all, appreciate that, and I'll see you on the next video.